Yeah, YouTube, what up? Welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Watts, and I'm Watts. And today we're talking about how bad Triple H's booking is once more. I get so tired of having these conversations, and I get so tired of having to explain why we have these conversations, because it's not just me, obviously. It's a boatload of content creators, YouTubers, people on Twitch that talks about how bad the WWE product is and how bad the WWE product continues to get and how it's almost insufferable to the point where I used to love coming home on Fridays and watching SmackDown. I used to love coming home on Mondays and knowing that Monday Night Raw was coming on that night. I don't feel that no more. Haven't felt it for a long time. I haven't felt that excitement. I haven't felt that urge to be like, yo, I gotta get home for Raw. Now it's just more so, if I get too tired and I don't want to watch the main event, I'm going to sleep and I'll just catch the highlights later that day or the next day or something of that magnitude. I say this because Triple H is so bad at his job that every single day there's a new think piece on YouTube about how bad of a job he's doing. And yeah, there are people who are just saying this to profit. They just want to trash the product or what have you. But even that is not too far-fetched because all of these claims have truth to it and maintains truth and there's some validity to it. A broken clock is right at least twice a day. So let's not get that twisted. But I say this because his style of booking and his style of coaching these new superstars is a detriment to not only the superstars themselves, but it's a detriment to the future of the product. Because, yeah, we're super grateful and super happy that these guys are not foot soldiers anymore and they're not just constantly on the road. Yes, they're constantly on the road, but not to the magnitude that Vince McMahon had them on. Vince had them working 330 times a year, but it was really bad at one point. But they eliminated house shows altogether for the most part. So these superstars got more time to spend with their families, but that can also hurt them. That can even hurt the vets. Let's be real. But these new superstars who don't really get the opportunity to practice their moves, practice against other people at house shows, because house shows used to be designated for practice for the most part. House shows used to be designated for, all right, yeah, you did mess up, but it wasn't televised. It was, you get a little free range to kind of do what you want for these house shows. But that was eliminated completely. I say this because Rhea Ripley was on the Chris Van Vliet podcast, and she was explaining how nervous she was going into WrestleMania 40 and facing Becky Lynch because it was a lot of weight on her shoulders. And yeah, she could wrestle, but she wasn't wrestling as often to that point. She wasn't wrestling as often, and then Becky Lynch got sick, so she would have had to carry the entire match on her back. And I feel like she would have been a lot more prepared for this, and she also even said it, if she was wrestling a lot more often. Triple H, he has this idea that the main eventers shouldn't really be wrestling that much and they shouldn't be workhorses. And no, you're not supposed to kill your main eventers. But back in the day, the main eventers was in matches every week. Weekly episodic shows. It wasn't just them coming out doing promos or backstage segments. Backstage segments, believe it or not, is really hurting the product as well, because we came to see wrestling matches. There's no reason why a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown should just be all ads and backstage segments and then like maybe one or two matches, and the matches ends in DQs, and the matches are not great because a lot of these guys' blades are not sharp. And then when it's time to go for real, at these PLEs, they're messing up, they're making mistakes. The reason why everything is so swift in NXT is because that is developmental still, even though they're kind of switching Evolve and to like the developmental, and NXT is starting to become the third main roster show. I say this because they're so much more polished because they're doing it often. They're at the PC every day. They're at the PC working out. They're at the PC getting their reps and practicing their moves and doing promo classes and stuff. But once they get to the main roster, they're pretty much on their own. It's not a lot of guidance. And on top of that, the culture in the locker room is not the same as it was back then, when they was not only learning ethics, and not everything was too correct, don't get me wrong, because a lot of them old heads, they was on some hazing stuff, and ain't nobody in 2025 trying to really deal with hazing. That's kind of crazy. But they had opportunities to get in there and practice. They had opportunities to get in there and work on their promos, house shows, and develop a character and be able to keep the crowd interested. That's not happening no more, and that's partly because Triple H doesn't know how to book and mentor these guys. You can't say things like I only go for the best of talent when you're not giving the opportunity for talent to continue to flourish. You're not even letting them go out there and fail. You're not even giving them the opportunity to fail. If they make a mistake, then they just make a mistake. And we need guys that can run the company. We need guys that can take the company, put it on his back, and be the face of the company. But you don't get those type of people, those larger than life bodies and superstars, when they're not allowed to develop. They're not given the proper platform or opportunity to develop. And it's, you know that there's something up when you don't see these promos being cut in the ring. It's always backstage segments, to the point where a lot of these superstars got to get their shit off on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. You got superstars literally cutting promos on Instagram when those promos should be on TV. Even the vets. I saw Xavier Woods. I was on his Instagram not too long ago, and he cut a promo about losing the titles to Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And I'm like, yo, this promo is fucking impeccable. Why the fuck is this not on TV? Why the hell is the New Day not being allowed, at least, to go to the ring and cut these type of promos? We're talking about how bad the New Day heel turn flopped, and that's all partially because of how it was handled and how these guys are booked. It's so bad now. It's no good. Down from the veterans to the new guys, they're not getting opportunities because they want to play 50 ads and like 50 backstage segments and then like maybe 1 or 2 matches, 1 or 2 promos in the ring. But that's only reserved for the Samoans, the Paul Heyman guys, the Seth Rollins guys. You know, these people who are getting a lot of camera time, and that's cool that they're getting a lot of camera time. But how are you supposed to develop new stars? Why the hell is Cody Rhodes not fighting every week? Why the hell is Seth Rollins not having matches every week? Back in the day, even if it was a 6-man tag, you were seeing main eventers in matches every week. Now they just cut promos and backstage segments. It's lazy. It's altogether lazy. And that's why Triple H never achieved what he should have probably achieved as a superstar. And yeah, people put him in the GOAT conversations, but he's not putting the GOAT conversations because he always wanted to take the easy way out. He didn't want to perfect his craft and get better. He wanted to take the easy way out. Even by sleeping with the boss's wife, that's taking the easy way out. And even after that, he still wasn't Vince McMahon's favorite. So a lot of his backstage politics play a role in how he books people today. Clearly. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I don't think I'm crazy by saying this. I truly feel like his booking is hurting the talent. It's only a matter of time before these guys start getting exposed even more. You can't hide behind the Samoans forever, Triple H. You can't hide behind Rhea Ripley forever, Triple H. She's not China, bro. Book her the way she needs to be booked. Anyway, I'm out, y'all. Catch you on the next one. Peace.